Consider having everything and then suddenly losing it all. On February 8, 2026, a new power couple was to be crowned. As he dressed for Super Bowl 60 at Levi Stadium, Cardi B, the loudest hype queen in the world, was prepared to crown her king, New England Patriots star Stefon Diggs. For months, we observed them entertaining in public on boats during trips to Paris. And just 2 months prior to the birth of their kid. But as the clock reached 0 and the Seattle Seahawks won the ring, another kind of explosion was happening behind the scenes. Within an hour, Cardi and Diggs did the unthinkable. They deleted each other from social media. No more heart emojis or new chapter captions. Cold digital quiet. But at exactly 4:44 p.m., one door in a locker room in Santa Clara banged and another opened in the most famous way possible. When the one and only Jay Sisson sent a text message, the entire globe was in mourning over Card's relationship. The text wasn't just a "how are you" message. This was the approval of the sample for her blockbuster song Imaginary Players, which defined her career. Is it a coincidence that Cardi loses her lover at the same time that she gets the most backing from the biggest hip-hop billionaire? Is she finally getting away from the controversy of toxic athletes and entering the elite ROC Nation circle? Today we're breaking down the busiest 48 hours in music history. Offsets are pointless, I won the victory lap. The rumors of cheating in the locker room that ended it all. And the secret business tactics that suggest Cardi B is becoming more than simply a rapper and is instead becoming Jay-Z's most powerful employee. Put on your seatbelts because the Little Miss drama period has not only begun, but it is spreading over the world. The world's attention was focused on Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California, on February 8, 2026. It was the last confrontation between hip-hop aristocracy and sports supremacy. And it was more than simply a football game. The New England Patriots standout wide receiver Stefon Diggs was on one side preparing for the most significant game of his career. His partner and global celebrity Cardi B was waiting in the luxurious rooms to be his most devoted supporter. For months, Cardi had been removing herself from the public. Toxic wreckage of her marriage too. Offset, in order to build what seemed to be a solid connection with Diggs, the industry's new power couple, was being hailed. But as history has shown, any foundation built on public demonstrations of affection is well manicured. Instagram captions are often susceptible to a disastrous collapse. It was inevitable that Cardi B's ideal new chapter would turn into a public nightmare during Super Bowl 60. As soon as the game began, there was a scary tension on the screen. Cardi was oddly silent for the most vocal and enthusiastic fan at any event. A reporter approached her to give Stefon a quick shout-out prior to the coin toss. Instead of her usual charm, she said, "That's my baby. We're taking the ring home," attitude. She responded with a cold, flat two-word response and walked away without even looking back. That initial warning flag told the internet that something had already broken behind the scenes. It lacked passion and a heart. She felt as though she was fulfilling a contractual obligation rather than assisting the man she loved. However, as the evening went on, it became brutally clear why she was behaving in such a chilly manner. According to leaked claims, Cardi wasn't the only woman in the stadium with a stake in the Patriot star receiver. In a display of architectural disrespect, one of Stefon Diggs's prior baby mothers was spotted in the front row with a child in tow wearing a customized Diggs jersey during the event. When a woman gives a guy your platform, your loyalty, and a newborn kid just to have him publicly reveal his terrible background on the biggest stage in the world, just think of the psychological toll it must take. Nevertheless, the contempt went beyond family ties. The rumors erupted when a woman named Pry, who is well known for being related to Card's ex-husband, Offset, was allegedly spotted using a key card that the team had supplied to enter the secure grounds of the Patriots hotel. For Cardi, this was the ultimate betrayal. The degree of gaslighting that happens when a new partner is connected to the same groups that harmed them in their prior marriage is too much for most people to handle, too. The New England Patriots began to lose the game as it progressed. Stefon Diggs, who was meant to lead the attack, was a shadow on the pitch. He seemed distracted, ill-prepared, and completely out of step with the plan. It appeared as though the turmoil of his personal life had finally eclipsed his work output. The Seattle Seahawks dominated the field, which led to a devastating and overwhelming defeat of 29-13. Diggs was losing his loved ones in addition to the game. Cardi B didn't even wait for the final siren to sound. It's during Bad Bunny's halftime performance. She briefly made an enthusiastic entrance before vanishing entirely from the stadium. She didn't wait in the tunnel to console him or share a consoling message on social media. She went straight into blackout mode. Within an hour of the game's conclusion, the digital guillotine dropped. Fans soon saw that Cardi B and Stefon Diggs had unfollowed each other on Instagram. In the age of digital branding, this is the equivalent of filing for divorce in public. But the rumors that followed were far more harmful. Instead of reflecting on his Super Bowl loss, unverified allegations began to circulate that Diggs had been discovered bringing a female best friend into his hotel room less than an hour after the game concluded. Cardi reportedly spent over $1.2 million on the Super Bowl weekend, which includes everything from a lavish win after party that was supposed to be the season's high point to private protection. In an act of total finality, she canceled everything. The celebration was finished both physically and figuratively. The culture began to critically analyze the chronology. 2 months earlier, on November 4, 2025, Cardi had given birth to their son. Even though she was still in the postpartum phase, when women are most at risk, she had devoted that whole time to shielding Diggs from a mound of legal and personal issues. Diggs was accused of major felony strangulation during an altercation in December 2025. He rejected the charges, but they clouded their relationship. Additionally, it was discovered that in 2025 alone, he had fathered 4 children with different women. Cardi had listened to the fans' warnings, recognized the warning signals, and even set a hard line when it came to devotion. In the history of hip-hop relationships, this was the biggest marketing gimmick. Yet, she chose to trust what he said. "Let me heal you." As the repercussions continued, Cardi's ex-boyfriend Offset decided to perform a victory lap. Although many saw his 2-word social media post as petty, Cardi had actually been humbled. "I won." She had tried to prove to the world that she could find a better or safer man, but she ended up in a situation that might have been more unstable than the one she had left behind. The narrative of out of the frying pan and into the fire was being written in real time by every blog and commenter on the internet. People were questioning Cardi's judgment in addition to mocking the breakup. They were curious as to how a woman with her degree of wealth, influence, and skill could keep falling in love with the same kind of man who values diversity over loyalty. But when 48 hours following the breakup drew near, the atmosphere shifted. Cardi B didn't cry while lying in bed. She refrained from venting her frustrations in the middle of the night on Instagram Live. Instead, she retreated into her business, which is the one thing she has always had total control over. While Diggs was preparing for his February 13th court arraignment, and Offset was busy trolling from his living room, Cardi's phone buzzed with a notice that would reset everything. The time was 4:44 p.m., which was a characteristic of the well-known Jay-Z, the King of New York, a millionaire businessman who stays out of celebrity speculations, had reached out. He had officially cleared the sample for her new song, Imaginary Players. This was a cosign from the top of the industry, and it went beyond a simple commercial arrangement. Cardi B, the rapper's wife, recognized that while Offset and Diggs were playing chess with her heart, she was playing chess with her legacy. And this marked the beginning of Cardi B, the mogul. She realized that wasting her social capital on men who didn't respect her time or tranquility was not something she could afford. She purchased herself a $500,000 watch, scheduled her Little Miss Drama tour, and prepared to perform in Palm Springs. Not the loss in the Super Bowl, but the weight she needed to shed to finally be able to fly. Jay-Z's power was real, but Diggs' healing promise was a lie. When Cardi B chose to construct her own table rather than wait for a seat, Jay-Z was the first man to pull up a chair.